everyone, welcome to the session. So in this particular video, we will talk about the prerequisites which are required to explore further about this project. So now what I will do is that I'll try to show you everything, means in terms of the logical understanding, whatever tools we will use in big data. For example, in the upcoming practical demonstration part, you will observe that I'm using Scoop, I'm using HIVE, which is a major work which we are doing in this project, right? I'm using Apache Spark, I'm using, big data tools mainly. So it's very important for someone who is not from this background but wants to explore the project for this big data to have a basic knowledge about all these stuffs. So what I will do is that I'll try to first of all talk about the prerequisites which are required to understand the practical demonstration which we will do in the upcoming part of the video. I hope that this knowledge is also quite helpful to everyone. So let's get started. The very first thing is that you all know that we are dealing with something related to big data. So what is big data? When you will say that, okay, this is something which we are considering as a big data problem and we will solve it using a big data tools. There are mainly 4 V's in big data. First one is the volume, means your data at what scale it is increasing, how much is big that particular data is. See, for every tools in technology, it's not like that if you will be having not that massive amount of data, then also you are utilizing the big data tools. Because for everything you are using a lot of resources. So there is a need to understand that at what point of time I should go for big data tools and at what point of time maybe other resources or other algorithms is quite helpful to solve that particular problem, right? The same problem you can solve by writing simple programming code, but you are using the tools there. That's of no use. If the data size is too small, suppose I will give you one problem that my name is Priya, so I will give you a Word document where the size of that document is very small. And I will tell to you that can you tell me how many times Priya word is appearing in that document? Now, there if you are applying this big data tools, that's of no use. You can write a simple code there where you can apply if-else condition, you can just read the complete document and you can just take one variable count and give me the result. That's it, right? But instead of that, I'm saying that the amount of data is quite huge. Maybe I'm saying that the document size is of maybe 7 TB, 8 TB, I'm not sure. And one more thing which I'm saying is that data will keep on increasing. As I'm moving ahead, maybe tomorrow you will get more data on top of that. Next day you will get more data on top of that. This is something which is velocity. Second keyword which I am talking about. Volume is how much big your data size is. Velocity is that at what rate, at what speed this data is keeping on increasing. Third thing, veracity. Meaning we will be having a poor quality data. We will be having unclean data. Means the data that we are getting is quite uncertain. We need to first of all check that data. We need to first of all clean that data to prepare a proper pipeline. And the fourth V is the variety. We are getting different forms of data. Some are unstructured, some are structured, some are semi-structured. And nowadays you can clearly observe, we are data driven, right? Even a small child is having his Facebook account, Instagram account, right? If I'll talk about maybe 15 years, 20 years back, at least at my time, I don't have those accounts. But nowadays, we all are data driven. So you can clearly understand that how much useful this technology is to basically get the insightful content, to basically get the insights about the data with the help of the tools related to big data. So this is quite important to understand each and every tool, and the major thing you have to see is that at what point of time which tool is quite efficient to use and at what point of time I should avoid using that, right? Because for every heavy tool you are utilizing a lot of resources. there is some cost involved in that, right? So by saying that you cannot use one resource in every problem, you have to figure it out. Moving ahead, I hope now the definition of what we can say as a big data is pretty much clear to everyone. Here we have talked about 4 V's: volume, velocity, veracity, and variety. Moving ahead, now the next question is, why we are using a big data tools? Why there is a need of that? First thing is the storage, because the data size is too huge, as I talked already about the volume and the velocity. So I need some system where I can easily store that massive amount of data. That is the very first need of me. Second need, that okay, if the storage part is done, obviously to get the insights out from that data, I need to process that huge amount of data. So second thing is the processing. And the last is the scalability. As I told you, that if I'm saying that it's not like that today I'm giving you 8 TB of data, tomorrow it will remain 8 TB. Tomorrow it is keeping on increasing. The scale of the data is increasing. It is increasing, so you need to have some system where you can clearly store the data, how big it is, and you can clearly process the data. And that's where the tools of big data came into picture. I hope now you will be able to get an idea that why in this project I'm using big data tools and why we are not doing these things via simple code, because we want to deal with a big data. We want to deal with the data where the storage is high, where we want to process it in a timely manner, in a distributed manner. I'll talk about more on distributed part, just wait for a minute. And we want to deal with the data where scalability is there, where the data is not fixed. It's dynamic, it's keep on changing, it's keep on increasing. Moving ahead, now let's talk about, I have just few minutes back told you that processing will be done in a distributed manner. What's the meaning of that? What does that indicate? So here if you will observe, there are mainly 2 ways to build any system. You will also see. One is monolithic, another one is distributed. When I'm saying this is a monolithic system, what does that mean? That I'm having a one powerful system, and in that system there are a lot of resources. Means that system itself is having a lot of power, lot of resources are there. But what is the limitation of that? After a certain limit, there is very hard to add more resources into it. Secondly comes a distributed way, where maybe various smaller systems connected together. So there I can add more smaller systems, right? Which helps me to basically process the data, which helps me to basically store the data. So second way is the distributed one, where it's not like that there is one powerful system. Everyone is having an equal power, but now there are smaller systems which are connected together. And that's why you will observe that big data tools always work on distributed system. Because if suppose in future more data came into picture, what I will do, I'll add maybe more smaller systems into it and my work is done. But in monolithic, I cannot do so after a certain limit. So always remember that whatsoever tools we will discuss with respect to big data, we always deal with a distributed environment where smaller systems are coming together to do some useful task. I hope I'm making sense to everyone, right? So this is something which I would say is the overall idea behind what is big data, right? Why we are using big data tools, what is the distributed versus monolithic environment. This is what I want to talk about in this particular part of the session, which is the major prerequisite to understand. Now what I will do in the upcoming part of the video. In the upcoming part of the video, you will observe that we are discussing the tools with respect to big data, which we will for sure use in our project, right? To build a data warehouse, we want to do a HIVE analytics queries. We will pass some HIVE query languages, right? So in order to get an idea for that, what is Apache Hive? What is the utility of that? What is Apache Scoop? What is the utility of that? What is Apache Spark? What is the utility of that? Right? Everything I'll discuss firstly so that you will get a proper logical understanding of everything. And then you are also excited with me to start a practical demonstration of the same. I hope that whatsoever I am covering up here is pretty much clear to everyone. If you still have any sort of doubt, do let me know in the comment section. I'll for sure try to resolve it as soon as possible. With this, happy learning to all. Bye bye everyone, and I'll see you all in my next upcoming video.